Hey, I'm Chris with PearsonCopy.com, and I'm here to help your brand make more sales with email. As part of my 100 emails in 100 days breakdown challenge, I am breaking down an email from Saddleback Leather Co. The reason I like this email is because they're actually generating user content, and they're generating the user content, and they're actually using it for email newsletters. And what I mean by that is Saddleback Leather Co. is actually holding a joke contest. Now, this may or may not seem like a great idea for brands, and they're like, "Hey, how do you turn jokes into sales?" That doesn't really make sense. But the way Saddleback does it is part of their personality, part of their brand is to tell jokes. And I'll go over their tagline and why that connects there in a little bit. But I think this is a great version or great way to get and use user generated content to actually keep your list engaged and have them feel like it's an emotional connection, like a human connection with your brand. I think a lot of brands miss the opportunity to actually be human with their list, and they just send digital billboards and like promos, and that's all they send to the list. So the only time the list buys is when there's a coupon code, or if that person's ready to buy. And roughly, I'd say conservatively, less than 10% of your list is ready to buy with each send. So the other 80 to upwards of 90, 95% of your list isn't ready to buy right now on this send. So you can keep them engaged, entertained, educated. You can elevate them with your content, with your emails. Then when they're ready to buy, they're going to think of you as opposed to going shopping and finding somebody else on the fly. So I think even though a joke contest doesn't seem like you can sell something with it, the feeling of laughter, the feeling of joy, the feeling of, oh, that's an interesting joke. I got it. I'm in on the joke, right? That's something that stand-up comics talk about all the time, is even though they're speaking to a crowd or an audience of, a couple thousand or a couple million people, if they're on TV, Netflix special, whatever, when somebody gets a joke in their brain, when they actually connect the dots on the setup and the punchline, their brain actually lights up and says, oh, I found something. I closed the gap on that joke, on that setup, and I got the punchline. I get it. And that each individual feels like they're in on the joke, even though they may be sitting with a million people or 1,000 people. They may be sitting in a crowd, and most people get the joke, quote unquote, get the joke. They feel like they got it as an individual, like they're in on something. And so that mechanism here with jokes, you can actually create that feeling of connection, and you can create that feeling of being a part of something that somebody else may not be a part of. And that connection is what you transition into selling something, because the feeling that you're a part of the brand, or the brand, that they feel like it feels like a friend, or it feels like somebody that you know or have been around before, feels familiar enough to trust with your money. A joke can do that. Jokes can do that, and that's why stand-up comics are still getting paid a ton of money to do what they do, because they connect people. They take the things that people either don't want to talk about, or are having a tough time talking about, or maybe don't know how to talk about. They step out front first and say, hey, let's make some jokes about it, and just kind of lighten the mood, or talk about tough stuff in a way that we know is real, right? That type of connection is what jokes can do. And even a one-liner can do that. A couple one-liners can do that. And I think Saddleback Leather Co. does this with their joke contest. And we'll dive in here. I know it's a kind of a long prelude here, but let me go ahead and dive into the email, and I'll use the email to kind of explain what I'm talking about there with the jokes and how it can make you sales. So let's start with the subject line here. We have the subject line is pretty straightforward. It tells you exactly what's in the email. There's really no teasing, no benefit, really. Just here's what it is. Open if you want to. And that just speaks to the relationship that Saddleback Leather Co. has with their list, that they can send something so plain, and so it seems plain, it seems normal, it seems like not exciting or not curious, but their list is, so I would imagine, is engaged to the point that they can send something like this as a subject line and people still open it, right? So the subject line here is joke contest, comma, grandfather case, comma, shipping. So it just gives you in order what they're going to see in the email. Like I said, there's no really curiosity to it. There's really no extra like benefit to it. It's just, here's what the email, open it if you want. If you trust us and you want to see what's inside, open it. I think it's a great use of the subject line, and I think it's something you can test too, is just being direct, like 6 ways to do X, or joke contest, grandfather case, shipping, and just being straight, direct. Here's what's inside. Go check it out. So that's the subject line. We're going to skip the from name and from email address. Obviously, they're using their brand name, and their email address here is I have a question at saddlebackleather.com. We'll skip over that for now. But we'll dive into the email here, because this is where I want to focus on. So if you haven't checked out Saddleback Leather Co., their tagline, or their headline, their offer, if you will, is they'll fight over it when you're dead. And I love that for a leather company. It speaks to, and it basically says, we're high quality enough that you'll never have to buy from us again, and we're okay with that. And that offer alone is super powerful. Not many leather companies will make that claim, or say that out front, or say that out in public, of like, we make quality goods so good, we make them so well, that you'll never have to buy from us again if you don't want to. That may seem like a death sentence for a brand, but what actually is occurring, and I would believe is occurring with their brand, is they make such great products that people are buying multiple products over the course of years, and they're adding it to their collection. Something else in this email we'll talk about here is they actually number in some production runs, they number their first 100 items so that they could be, collector's items later down the road. Because if you're going to have this thing for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years passing on to your kids, etc., having a numbered item from this brand, it's a collector's item, and you can sell it for more later, or it's just a story. It's a story of like, yeah, I got number 72 of this thing, and that's why we keep it in the family, because it's such a quality piece of product, right? So yeah, let's dive in here. So the tagline, the email headline here, we have the brand logo here on the left, and then we have the tagline, "They'll fight over it when you're dead." It's a very, very short, small graphic here at the top. It doesn't really intrude or keep your eyes from moving down the email, which I think is great. I think they should test maybe just plain text with "They'll fight over it when you're dead" at the top, or maybe no tagline at all. It just really depends what they've been testing and what they want to do with their brand and brand recognition. I think that if their list has a great reputation or relationship with them, they won't need the tagline at the top all the time. But I think that they can maybe shrink this down and make it smaller, maybe even remove it entirely. It just depends to test on. So for if they're having issues with opens or just inbox delivery, it could be a thing they could test. So yeah, after the headline, it goes directly into plain text. There's nothing else here. So it's Saddleback Joke Contest is the main headline here, and then this paragraph here, it's about 3 or 4 lines. It's essentially talking about the joke contest, why they're doing it, and what they need from the reader. And my favorite part about this is the first line of this paragraph is, "If you've read our newsletters lately, then you've seen some not very funny jokes." So they're about to ask their list to submit some jokes, and the first thing they do, Saddleback does, is self-deprecating humor. They say, "Hey, we've been sending you jokes, and they're not that funny." So either they got responses from people, and they said, "Hey, these are dumb. Don't send these anymore," or they haven't got as many responses as they usually do, which means it's a signal of these jokes aren't that funny. People aren't responding. So something gave them an idea that their jokes aren't funny. Also, it could be just that maybe their jokes are funny. They like them, whatever they send them. But what they're trying to do is make the reader feel comfortable to submit their own joke, even if it's not as funny as it may seem, right? So self-deprecating humor of, we send not funny jokes and it's totally cool. It happens. That's a part of telling jokes, right? And then immediately after that line of, then you've seen some not very funny jokes from us. So we're opening a joke contest and calling on you. Send us your best joke, the setup and the punchline, by clicking the button below and filling out the short form. We'll be using your jokes. Try to keep them appropriate in newsletters moving forward. So this is the user-generated content. So you're generating the content by asking for it, and then you're using it in newsletters to keep people entertained. Now, what's the thing here with taking a joke from somebody that they've submitted and sending it in a newsletter? Well, what is everybody that submitted a joke looking for? They're looking for their email. So what are they going to do? They're going to open the emails to see if you use their joke or not. And that's what they're looking for the next however many weeks, months, quarters, whatever, that you're going to be using jokes. They're looking for their joke. And this may be this may seem like something you can't make sales with, or that it's not going to help. But when somebody's looking for something they submitted and they know it's going to come up, they're looking for it. They want to see it. They want to feel that rush of, oh my gosh, my joke that I submitted ended up in the Saddleback Leather Co. email list, and it went out to X number of people. This is something I would add once all the jokes have been submitted and you close the contest, is I'd say, hey, these jokes are going out to 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people, and we're about to get a reaction on it. So let's have some fun. Let's be positive. Let's enjoy it. If you guys have feedback, send it in, but let's have a good time with this. I would add in the idea that after they submit, so it doesn't deter them from submitting, because it's a lot of people, right? But after they submit and the joke contest closes, is just play up the idea that your joke is about to affect thousands of people in a positive way, and make it, and just ramp up that desire to see their joke in an email, to see their joke in an inbox sent out by a brand that they care about, that they want to buy from, or that they give a shit about, honestly, right? So that's how this thing's working. This is the mechanism it's doing. It's playing into ego, and it's also playing into community. And they're getting content from their users, so they can actually fill in newsletters to actually sell different things. So this, as maybe not as direct as it may seem to sell something with a joke, it is absolutely making a human connection. It's creating community, and it's bringing people in as opposed to pushing them out. And depending on the jokes they send, it's going to attract or deter certain people, which that's a whole nother thing that we can talk about, is how are you attracting and deterring your best customers with your emails. And the jokes that they send out and they say are funny or not funny, that's going to attract or deter certain people. So this is a great user-generated content move that Saddleback Leather's taking. And then you have a CTA here, enter joke here, CTA button. And then something else too with this joke contest is why are we doing this? Like, what's in it for the person who's submitting the joke? Because like, as much as it may get some people to submit saying, hey, 1,000 people are going to see this joke, that might get some people to submit. But the rest, everybody's like, okay, cool, you're asking for a joke, but what's in it for me? Why am I going to spend the time, the 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it takes for me to find a joke to submit or even write a new one or whatever it is? What's in it for me? Like, so what? And Saddleback Leather Co. addresses this with the next section under the CTA button is just for entering, and they explain why. And their explanation is anybody who submits a joke will have their name thrown in the hat for a chance to win the next Grandfather Collection design launching next week, numbered 0 to 100 in your color preference: tobacco, dark coffee, brown, chestnut, or black. We'll leave the joke contest open until Friday, 8/26 at noon Texas time. The winner will be selected randomly and contacted by customer support on Monday for shipping information. So this contest actually closed, and based on the time of this recording, it closed yesterday. And they're choosing somebody yesterday. They're letting them know. So. And this is two things happen here. One, the give the reason why. Like, here's what you get for submitting a joke. Like, we want to reward you and reciprocate your generosity for this ask. And two, this copy transitions into the product that they're giving away. So this is a beautiful thing. Is like, this email isn't the subject line joke contest grandfather case shipping. That isn't just three random things. It's all related to the same thing, which is the joke contest. So it's the joke contest, and if you submit, you get a chance to win the grandfather case. And then down here, they mentioned shipping, because shipping has been slow because of their site-wide sale and all this stuff. So they're being very real with their back end, like warehouse and just business stuff, right? So, but let's finish up the just for entering piece here, and we'll go on to the grandfather collections next design. So those are the two things. One, here's the reason why you should submit a joke, and two, you could win the grandfather's collections next design. And then so after that section, that's about 4 or 5 sentences there, just plain text copy. The next section is plain text copy as well. The headline here is the grandfather collections next design. And this piece is available on 8/30/22. Yeah, that's today. So at the time of this recording, it's literally recording it when this piece is being released. They played this contest up the week prior, basically, or the week or month prior, so that they could get attention on this case being launched today. So if you didn't win the joke contest and you didn't get selected, then you can still buy it today, it being released Tuesday, August 30th, 2022. So, and the copy here essentially, let's see, the piece here that really got my attention on this copy, they just explained the case and when it's being released, and people in the office think it's the most popular case yet. It's definitely gonna be the most affordable. So they are playing down the price. Instead of their high price items that they'll fight over when you're dead, right? So that falls in line with their pricing. And they're saying this is the most affordable case. But the thing that caught my attention with this is the first 100 will be numbered, come with a signed art featuring this case in a grandfatherly setting, and a signed certificate of authenticity. It will be available in all 4 colors. And those 4 colors mentioned above: tobacco, dark coffee, brown, chestnut, or black. The 100 that will be numbered. So they'll fight over it when you're dead. That tagline says quality until you die, and you can pass it on to future generations, right? And when an item is numbered, it means it can be a collector's item later down the road. So what they're doing is they're building in scarcity to say the first 100 are numbered because they could be collector's items, and they're selling to collectors. They want the collector types to buy first, and they're trying to play into that of saying, hey, get one of the first 100, it's numbered. You can sell it for more than you bought it for. Let's say you bought it today for $100, you can sell it for more later because it is a collector's item off the manufacturing line. Like, these are the first 100, and that's the only 100 will be numbered. And the rest that we produce after this are not going to be numbered. So you get a unique piece when you buy from us when they release today on the 30th. So yeah, so tying user-generated content to those first 100, that's a pretty big move. And also to using that as scarcity as well as reason to buy for collectors and certain types of buyers, people that like long-term things, that like keeping things for a long time, that appreciate quality. It plays right into that persona. It plays right into selling to that customer. And then we have a picture here of the grandfather collection, the case here. So I think that their aesthetic, Saddleback Leather's aesthetic, and how they do pictures and things like that, I think it's really nice. But this is the only image of the email, and it's just a picture of the products. They could probably get away with not using the picture and just putting a link here saying, hey, check out this collection now. Go look at it, and they probably could. If the product wasn't listed when they sent this email, which let's see if I can find when they sent this email. So this hit my inbox, it looks like August 23rd, so about a week before today. So yeah, they did it a week before. If this product wasn't actually released on the site yet, then they put an image in the email so you could look at it. But once it's released, I would remove this image, and just say, hey, check out the grandfather collection now, and put a link or a button or hyperlink, something, so the curiosity gets people to click through and look at it. But yeah, since it may have not been listed on the site, that's why they put a picture here. It makes sense. After that picture, it's the last piece of the email, which is shipping. So please be patient with shipping. The site-wide sale last week has put the warehouse. The site-wide sale last week has put the warehouse a handful of days behind on getting orders out. We have all hands on deck on our shipping and orders as fast as we can. Thank you in advance for being patient with shipping and customer service. So I think it's super neat that they're being transparent about their shipping, and they're just letting you know, hey, you guys ordered a ton of stuff and we really appreciate it. We're getting it shipped as fast as we can. Stay patient with us. If you have questions, let customer service know. Something else here that this brand, Saddleback Leather, could do is any kind of story, like warehouse story that they have. Because if all hands are on deck, then there's some stuff going on. Like somebody's going to drop something, somebody's going to break something, something's going to happen, negative or positive, that you could tell a story about. And I think that with everybody being all hands on deck, you could tell the story of how the team rallied to ship all your stuff out. And this is why we brought more people in to do it right, so that you don't have to return things. And like, there's just different ways you can tell stories. But there's a reason, conflict. There's something you can pull out of this for the site-wide sale, all hands on deck, of maybe a story of somebody coming in part-time to help. Maybe the kids come in and help pack stuff, or maybe something that has to do with making put the brand in a positive light, even though their shipping is a little bit behind. So yeah, that's something you can pull stories out of that. And then the rest of the email is just, it says warm regards, Saddleback Leather Co., plain text, and then they have their social icons and their standard food information. So this email, I really liked it. I think the takeaways here: one, the joke contest is user generated content, and generating it as an asking for it, and then using it to actually create emails. It's a great idea. If you can find a way to make user generated content as part of your newsletter strategy or your sending strategy, your customers and your list are going to love it, because they're going to be the ones that are being put in the spotlight. And you can say, hey, we appreciate you. We're using your stuff. This is why you're important to us. And also, too, that's going to help sell more product because they get the spotlight. You're focusing on the customer even more so than you're focusing on the brand. And the second thing is using a joke contest, or finding some way to create that user-generated content. Joke contest, like I said, doesn't seem like it'll be a direct sales thing, but one, it creates connection. Two, it creates community. And three, it actually helps your deliverability, because people are replying and like engaging with your emails. And part of Saddleback's tagline, the fight over when you're dead, stories, jokes, products, moments, just connection with human typically you want it to last a lifetime. And so they're playing into that with this joke contest. So yeah, those are the two big insights with this. I really appreciate this email. If you have a second, go get on Saddleback Leather's list and go check out their emails. Go check out their products. I really like what they're doing over there. And as a part of my 100 emails and 100 days breakdown challenge, I've got, at the time of this recording, I've got over 70 videos on my YouTube channel. So go check those videos out. There's a ton of different insights. I'm trying to make each video different, talk about different things on them. So if you're an e-com brand trying to make more sales with email, go check those videos out and pull those insights out and start using them. And if you ever need help with email, let me know. I'm an email list manager, and also I can give you a complimentary free email audit to see where there's opportunities for us to make more sales from your list, and also grow your list and grow your revenue as a brand. So check those videos out. Let me know if you need help with email. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you have a good one.